Hey guys, and welcome back to this week's edition of RotarySwing.com's tour analysis. I'm your instructor, Chris Tyler, and this week we have Vaughn Taylor back on the block, who just picked up his first victory in 11 years. And this week we're going to be focusing in on one really critical move that most all tour players do in their golf swing to allow them to move into a consistent spot in their backswing every single time. So if you've noticed that your golf swing might be a little bit longer and out of control, focus in here today because I'm going to show you the one key move that can help stabilize your hips and make your golf swing more consistent day in and day out. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay guys, so as I said in the opener, we're going to be focusing in on one key move this week that's going to allow your golf swing to become shorter, tighter, and more consistent, and you're still going to be able to maintain the speed that you had before. I think that's one of the areas that a lot of amateur golfers tend to want, is we want to become more consistent in the world of ball striking. And if we can get the golf club to move into the same spot at the top of the swing every single time, then chances are it's going to be much easier for us to get the club on plane coming down in the downswing. So one of the areas that I see amateur golfers tend to struggle with the most is loading up and stabilizing their right leg. So what we want to think of is we want to think of your right leg, assuming you're a right-handed player, as becoming a mailbox post. And if you've ever had the luxury of digging a mailbox post, you know that you don't want your post to have any sort of wiggle to it. You don't want to have your post have any sort of up and down movement. You want that thing stuck in the ground. And that's exactly what the right leg is going to be more or less doing in the golf swing. Is we want to just shift our weight into that right side and we want to stabilize it. We want it to become a mailbox post. And I'm going to give you one really critical checkpoint that you'll see Vaughn do really well here. And I've known Vaughn for several years, actually, long before he was making it big out there into the PGA Tour. Used to play a little golf with him, and he's a phenomenal guy. Got a phenomenal amount of talent, and it's great to see him back winning again. So let's go ahead and pay close attention to his hips here into the takeaway. Okay, so you can see that his hips haven't done really that much. His hips have maybe shifted about an inch or so. He's got most of his weight now centered right here under this right ankle. Okay, so most of the weight is centering into that right heel, right ankle. If a lot of your weight tends to shift to the forward part of the foot, so let's just use this line right here. If your weight shifts to the forward part of the foot in this area, as you start to create momentum and inertia with your hands and arms around your body, chances are you're going to start to see your hips come forward quite a bit, or your pelvis will become unstable, and you'll start to see some tilt to your pelvis. So you want to make sure when you shift into your right side that your weight gets locked right underneath your ankle joint. Let's go ahead and call it about 80 to 85%. Now, this is where the amateur golfers tend to struggle the most, is watch the position of the right knee as we start to load up to the top of the swing. You can see that the right knee just maintains its flex. Okay, so that's the really critical move right here. Now, what this is doing is it's number one, it's stabilizing his hips, it's restricting his hips from over-rotating, and it's allowing his body not to continue to rotate and allowing his hands and arms to get longer into the golf swing. Okay, so when you start to have lots of moving parts in the golf swing, then chances are you're now relying more on a timed light golf swing. And timing is one of those things that can make your golf swing fluctuate from one round to the next. And we know how frustrating that can be. So if you go out there and shoot 80 one day, and then the next day you go out there and shoot 95, it's extremely frustrating. But again, we want to keep things as consistent as possible. That's the name of the game here. So if you've been struggling with seeing that your golf swing or your backswing is getting longer and out of control, two really critical checkpoints are for you. Make sure that you shift your weight into your right heel. Okay, make sure you feel about 85% or so of your weight in that right heel, right ankle. And then as you're starting to work up to the top of your backswing, feel like your right leg is maintaining its flex and your right knee is going to try to stay facing forward. Those things will make your golf swing feel really short and really tight. You'll start to feel a lot of your midsection. You might even start to feel the medial side of the glute starting to load up here, which is a good thing for us. We want to have a very, very stable platform to turn our body on. And a lot of times when amateur golfers tend to make this move, and I work with them in a private environment, they tell me that, oh man, my rotation actually feels like it's driving my right leg into the ground. And that's a great thing. So if you've been battling with a golf swing that's getting longer and out of control, I really encourage you just to make a small shift to your right side, get your weight locked under your ankle, maintain the knee flex, and you'll start to see that your golf swing becomes more and more consistent in the takeaway and the backswing. I got a couple videos this week, guys, that'll help you out with all that stuff. We've got Load the Right Glute, Shorten Swing, Start Transition. It's a great video that's got a good drill on how to start to tie all of it together and move into downswing stuff. Also, if you've been really battling with right knee flex, we've got actually a training aid on the website called the knee brace or the anchor. It's a great tool that a lot of people have a great success with. We also have the load the right side for stability and safety. That's a really critical part because, as I said, if your pelvis becomes unstable, then in turn your hips can over-rotate, which can now cause you to over-rotate your spine and allow your hands and arms to get longer, and you could get yourself into some dangerous positions. So definitely check those videos out, guys, and let's make sure that we're playing efficiently and safely in 2016. Okay, guys, thanks again for tuning into this week's tour analysis brought to you in part by RotarySwing.com. I'm your instructor, Chris Tyler, and remember, do me a favor, if you like this video, go ahead and click the like button below, and if you have any questions or comments on things that may help you with your golf game, please feel free to post those up and I'll help you out as best I can. Also, remember to subscribe to our channel. That way you get announcements anytime we release any of our new content. Now let's get out there and let's play some great golf this year, guys.
Your spine. So now I'm going to be in a position where it doesn't really feel that free to rotate on my hip. I feel some strain on the outside of my leg, the outside of my hip socket, and so on. So that's the main reason you don't want to push, is because you're going to move yourself outside of neutral. Now when you use just the left side